It is Pro Day season. We are at Notre Dame today. Jeremiah Love, you're going to hear his name called early in the draft. You're going to hear him talk to our Stacey Dales later in the program. Aaron Rodgers, back in black, back in Pittsburgh. We've got an answer for it. We don't yet have an answer, but we'll break it down as best we can and hear from Mike McCarthy as well. Plus, the moves that we think matter the most. Brian Baldinger, Steve Weiss going to be joining us later in the program to talk about those. Welcome inside with the insiders here on a Tuesday. Judy Batista and Ian Rappaport with me. Correct me if I'm wrong at any point during the show. I am Mike Garafolo. I got that part right. And I know for a fact that we have plenty of news and information to get to. So let's get to it, because Tua Tagovailoa, the new Falcons quarterback, still new. It was just a couple of weeks ago where that happened after he was released by the Miami Dolphins. There you see him in a Dolphins uniform. Pretty soon you're going to see him in a Falcons helmet practicing on the field there in Flowery Branch. For now, here he is addressing the media and talking about how excited he is to not just compete with Michael Penix, but work with him.
You either love competition, you're either a competitor, or you're not. You just don't go from being a competitor to, let me just relax a little bit. I just don't think that's how it works. You're either a competitor or you're not. And so I embrace the competition. I'm excited to work alongside with Mike, and I'm excited to work, with the team, with the guys. I think it's going to be fun this year.
Tua hanging out in a balcony there, looked like maybe on vacation. I think I saw like a bag of toys or something happening there. Ian, starting with you, your thoughts on Tua joining the Falcons at the low price of the veteran minimum.
Yeah, no doubt. This is not going to be one that's decided by the price of the contract. This is going to be decided on the field, and it does seem as of right now it's going to be a real quarterback competition. You really had to wonder for Michael Penix Jr. and for Tua Tagovailoa, if this was last year, if this was the regime that had drafted Penix, would it be a competition, or would Tua be able have to come in and just kind of lend some support and, be a veteran presence, and then when it's time, just kind of step aside? It feels real to me. And here's what's going to be really interesting. Tua is going to have a little bit of a leg up in the offseason because Michael Penix Jr. still recovering from that ACL, is not going to be able to get real and true reps in May and June and potentially into training camp. In fact, Tua may even start the season depending on how ready Michael Penix Jr. is. So there is going to be a competition. He is going to have a leg up. The other thing I would say is the margin for error of Tua is really thin, right? It's not like he has all season to prove himself. Probably has a very, very small window. He's only 28 years old. Feels like he's been around forever, but only 28 years old. If he goes out and plays well the first couple of games, 3 or 4 games, he can set himself up to have the kind of second career that, say, Baker Mayfield has had, Judy. This is an unbelievable opportunity for Tua, provided he goes out and plays well.
Well, and provided he can stay on the field and stay healthy, which is the thing that has tripped up Tua so very often. He has only played one full season. That was 2023. He played all 17 games. Not surprisingly, his numbers were terrific. The Dolphins won 11 games that year. That's the last time they went to the playoffs. But he's got a big injury history. We know all about it. He's got a concussion history. Unfortunately, last year his numbers were really off. His completion percentage was off. His touchdown numbers were down. His interception numbers were up. Obviously, Tyreek Hill being off the field with his injury played a part in that. He's only 28 years old. Our Mark Ross has raised the question, though, is he like a shot fighter? Has his best football already passed him by? Certainly, Tua doesn't believe that. 28 years old, he's going to have plenty of weapons around him. And as you pointed out, Ian, he has a huge opportunity here because Michael Penix is probably not going to be able to get off-season work that he will need. So big opportunity, but the big if with Tua is still the same. Can he stay healthy?
Tua had a few teams interested, the Jets being one of them, and decided quickly that he wanted to be with the Falcons, and the Falcons wanted to have him as well, Judy, in large part because of that opportunity you're talking about with Michael Penix coming back from injury and his ability to work with Kevin Stefanski and the offensive coaches along the entire offseason. Certainly a great opportunity, and there you see the smile on his face, knowing what an opportunity it is. Steve Weiss, get in here. You know plenty about the Falcons, having covered them at length for years, so let's get your thoughts on Tua joining Atlanta, what it means for him, what it means for the team.
Well, look, first off, one thing Tua said later in that news conference was he was very honest, saying, I did not play well last year. You can't sugarcoat it. And that is what's really stemming this competitive drive. Now he's in a situation, as you all have been talking about, where he's going to get the majority of the offseason reps while Michael Penix recovers from that ACL. But one thing that really suits well for him is he's coming to a system with Kevin Stefanski that plays to his strengths, right? Plays to timing, does some things where throws the ball into the intermediate range, where he's got Kyle Pitts, the tight end, where he's got Drake London. They go out and they get Jahan Dotson. And, oh, yeah, there's Bijan Robinson. The offseason, though, is going to be interesting to me for both quarterbacks because neither of them has really played much under center. Kevin Stefanski would prefer his quarterbacks play under center, but he's shown in his time as head coach with Cleveland to have his guys play majority in shotgun like he did with Deshaun Watson, or get them under center depending on their strengths. So, again, a lot of learning this offseason, but as we've talked about more and more, Tua with the leg up because he's going to get the early access to running this offense.
Stefanski with a touch of a left-handed quarterback last year in Dylan Gabriel. Now got two of them in Penix. And Tua certainly helps with the consolidation as far as game planning goes. Because I hear a lot of times, the lefty comes in, it changes everything specifically for the offensive lineman. Why go nowhere because you're coming back later in the program. Elsewhere on the quarterback carousel, veteran Joe Flacco, yes, back with the Bengals on a one-year deal. Ian reported the numbers. I think it was $6 million up to $9 million. Pretty good deal for Joe Flacco. Like, why would you walk away from that? Look at the smile on that man's face. You want to pay me again? That much money? Yeah, I'll take it. Aaron Rodgers has got more money likely coming his way from the Steelers if he just would make a decision of whether he wants to return or not. We were told it was not going to linger nearly as long as it did last year. Well, then we better get on it. Here's Mike McCarthy, the coach of the Steelers and Rodgers' former head coach with the Packers, asked at the Bob Harlan celebration of life in Green Bay by Kevin Harlan, Bob's son, about Rodgers.
Yes, it'd be a great story. I don't know, and I would love to tell everybody. It's breaking news, but it's really cool to see Aaron at 42. You see, a young man at 22, and all that he's been, all what he's been able to accomplish, and where he's at in his personal life, and in trying to make this decision. So he's in a really good place.
Rob Domofsky, our friend and now colleague. We appreciate it, pal. Bald guys, we stick together. We appreciate the video. Yes, Judy, Rodgers, McCarthy, the pairing that we want to see. When will we see it?
First of all, shout out to Kevin Harlan for asking Mike McCarthy about Aaron Rodgers during a celebration of life for his dad. Anyway, everything we have seen and heard from the Steelers so far this offseason points to Aaron Rodgers returning, simply because the Steelers haven't really done anything else in the quarterback department. They have not put a deadline on this. They certainly don't think we're all going to be waiting until June, which is when we finally got the Aaron Rodgers decision last offseason. It's March. I think they would be happy with a decision whenever it comes. But again, their lack of movement on the quarterback front certainly suggests that they fully expect Aaron Rodgers to return. They will pivot if they have to. But they've done a lot of work to shore up that offense while they wait for him. So it's a pretty good situation he would be returning to, a coach he's had great success with, a shored up offense. It's a good situation for Aaron Rodgers. Please make a decision soon.
Although then if he made a decision quickly, what would we have to talk about? Doesn't quite feel like last year, but we are in a similar situation where it's March and we don't know whether or not Aaron Rodgers is going to play. And you're right, Judy. There's been a lot of kind of assumptions by many people following this that Aaron Rodgers would just come in and play for the Steelers. They haven't made a quarterback move, although they can. Kirk Cousins, by the way, is still out there. They still have the draft. They pick right in the middle of the first round. Could certainly take a quarterback like Ty Simpson if that is a direction they want to go. There's some other veteran quarterbacks for sure available. Plus, there are some quarterbacks on their roster, including Will Howard, who they like. Here's what I would say, trying to sum up the situation. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to play next year. It does not seem like the Steelers and Mike McCarthy know whether or not Aaron Rodgers is going to play next year. If you talk to people who know him well, they do not know if Aaron Rodgers is going to play next year. So there does seem to be some real uncertainty about whether or not Rodgers will, in fact, play. The early word was that he was going to decide before free agency. Then it was like, all right, well, probably in March. None of those things have yet happened, and until and unless Rodgers makes a firm decision, it is very much up in the air in Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh, which is where the draft will be in less than a month. You want to do a little bit of showmanship. Why don't you go for that, Aaron? Announce it right there. Speaking of the draft, Travis Kelce, not in the draft. Judy, go for it.
All right, Bucky Brooks has mock draft 3.0. We're already up to 3.0. There you see his top 10 picks. Of course, Fernando Mendoza sitting at number 1. A whole lot of Ohio State representation there, but look at the 4th overall pick from the Tennessee Titans, running back Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame. By the way, Notre Dame held its pro day today. Lots of NFL representation there to see Love and a whole bunch of his soon-to-be former teammates. I saw Frank Reich was talking to Marcus Freeman on the sideline. Stacey Dales was there. She talked to a whole lot of people, too, including Love.
Jeremiah Love is not performing, as you told me at the Combine, because you had an electric Combine performance. But you are here. What have you been doing since we saw you in Indianapolis?
I got my chocolate shake after the Combine. That's what I got. But honestly, I've just been I've been meeting with a lot of teams since the Combine. I went on a couple visits. Just been doing what I do. Been trying to find ways to work out throughout all this traveling, and just been trying to find ways to stay focused. Because, at the end of the day, I'm going to get drafted wherever I go, going right into OTA. So I got to be ready for that opportunity. So this has been fun. I'm trying to find ways to train and shoot.
Chilling. Shoot is chilling. Chilling is good. Chocolate shakes are good. But one of the things you told me, Jeremiah, at the Combine was you wanted to drop a few pounds, be a little bit lighter. Yeah. Have you done that? How have you done that?
I have not weighed in since the Combine, so I don't even know what I weigh right now. I feel lighter because I've been eating a little bit healthier.
So no chocolate Chick-fil-A chocolate shakes?
I had one. That's all I could afford to have. That's all I could afford to have. I had to reward myself for that amazing Combine performance. But after then, I've been trying to eat right. I've been trying to make sure I'm putting good things in my body so that my body stays healthy throughout this time of me doing all this traveling and trying to find ways to work out and stuff like that.
The only thing I regret not asking you was how impressive your backflip was when we saw you do it after the running back drills. Did you rehearse that, and do we have anything planned for the draft, perhaps?
I've been flipping since I was about 7 years old. Okay. So it was not planned. The guys was like, hey, let's go hit a backflip. Anybody can hit a backflip? I was like, I can. I bet. We're going to hit a little cartwheel into a backflip, and I just did it. I've been flipping since I was 7. I used some crazy flips when I was a kid. I used to jump off of stuff, flip off my cousin's hands, and do a lot of crazy stuff. But I don't know if you're going to see anything at the draft.
Are you going to the draft?
I am, yes.
Do you have a suit, a fit picked?
I do.
Can you give us
a nice
any hints?
colorway. It's going to be nice and elegant. I'm not going to be too flashy about it. I want to be, nice, clean, sleek type look. Okay. So it'll be a nice little color.
So the flips come in handy because you hurdle people on the field.
Yeah.
They call you a running back, but everybody out there understands you are a weapon. How do you see yourself as Mr. Versatility entering the NFL?
I see myself as coming to the NFL and doing whatever a team needs me to do. You want me to split out wide, I can do that. Obviously I can run the ball, I can block. I can play special teams even if you need me to. I would love to go out and play some gunner or some kick return or something like that. I would love to do that. That's how I came into college and made a name for myself on the team. The coaches trusted me enough to put me in on special teams, so I would have no problem doing that at the NFL level. But obviously I'm probably not going to do that. But as me being very versatile, I picture the perfect me being able to split out wide and play the slot, and then also just come back in the backfield and attack from there. So perfect version of me is being able to do both of those simultaneously and just having success at both of those.
Beautifully said. Do you watch the mock drafts, by the way?
I try not to look at them, but I see what a lot of people say.
You don't need to look at them.
Nah.
You're going high, my friend.
I'm going to get drafted somewhere, and wherever I go, I'm going to give them my best.
You're going to get drafted real high. Appreciate you, Jeremiah Love.
Yes, ma'am.
Stopping by. Go get a chocolate shake after the draft.
I am. You better believe that I am.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Jeremiah Love on special teams. As a matter of fact, welcoming in our Brian Baldinger, if Love goes 4th overall, as Bucky has in his mock draft, that would be the highest a running back has gone since Saquon Barkley went 2 overall in 2018. Baldy, as you know, they were not just there to see Jeremiah Love. Who else do you have your eye on from the Fighting Irish?
Well, if I just go back to the Combine when Stacy interviewed Jeremiah Love and he finished the running back drills with that flip of his, he wasn't done, and neither was Jadarian Price. They both went and caught passes as a wide receiver from quarterbacks for the next 30 minutes before the next position group came on the field. I think and so when you watch Jadarian Price right here, like he's a complete back. He's a change of pace. It's been a good 1-2 punch between Love and between Jadarian Price. And so, his open field maneuverability to find the open space like he does right here against Arkansas, like you see the vision. Like he can really find it, and he's got enough power and speed to be able to burst. So, they might be the first and second running backs off the board, come draft night, that Thursday night. And then, honestly, Malachi Fields here. He's a guy that I don't think has come close to reach his potential. He's over 6'4". He's 220 pounds. When you watch him, I don't know if he gets used enough. They have a rookie quarterback, obviously, in C.J. Carr. But he's a guy that can really stretch the field as a true X receiver and use his size as an advantage. And then his overall reach. Like, I think Malachi Fields has a real place, at the NFL level. Now, he didn't run a burning speed, but at that size, you don't have to. You catch all the back shoulder fades, and he can stop on a dime and maybe even leave a little bit of change, I like to say. Like, he has the ability to come back and create a separation for any quarterback that might be throwing him the ball.
Fighting Irish are definitely back in the mix for the draft. Baldy, don't go far. You're going to be back in the show later. But first, Travis Kelce is back with the Kansas City Chiefs, and our Adam Rank has some thoughts. But first, JK Dobbins signed a new deal with the Denver Broncos, and now he is going to be here on The Insiders to talk about that. That is all coming up next on The Insiders.
There he is right there, still Broncos running back JK Dobbins in his big free agency moment. Dotting the I's, crossing the T's, signing on the dotted line. Still a member of the Denver Broncos after what can be no doubt a stressful experience. Joining us on The Insiders, JK, welcome to the show. Ian Rappaport, Steve Weiss back with us as well. We got plenty to talk about, including what you did this past weekend. But I want to go right to that contract situation. It's a really nice deal. 2 years, $20 million max. Free agency can be really stressful. No idea where you're going. There was rumors Broncos were looking at other running backs. They land back on you. Tell me, you get the call from your agent, Zach Hiller of LAA Sports. What was your first thought when you realized you get to stay in Denver for that deal?
Well, it was a long, crazy process to get to that point, but I'm happy to be home. Denver is home, man. I've made, a good connection with the fans out here. I love my teammates. I love my coaches. I love the ownership. I love everything about Denver. So it was great to get a deal done and be able to stay home where I think I will thrive. I was thriving last year, but something unfortunate happened, which that's part of the game. But this year, I don't think that's going to happen.
JK, I want to get back to how you were thriving last year because it was one of your best games. But more recently, though, you just held a football camp down in Mexico City. I know you're talking about Denver's home. We're going to get back there. But tell us about this camp and what happened in Mexico City and why Mexico City.
Oh, man. So, I speak Spanish. I got some Spanish in my family, Spanish people in my family. And I also love to touch, kids of, a different type of upbringing. I love to touch the kids who don't have it as fortunate as others, And so Mexico City was a great opportunity for me because I want to touch the kids. I want to touch them. I want to be able to, and not only in English, but in Spanish. So going out there, to a less fortunate place, was amazing, and the kids were amazing. Like, I had so much fun, and they know football. They're pretty athletic. You know, it's crazy how much football there is in Mexico City. Like, it's amazing. Like, I had a blast. Like, just seeing the smiles on the kids' faces, and whenever I would speak Spanish to them, they loved that, and it was great, man. I had a great time, and the city was great. The fans were great. Like, there's a bunch of fans. Broncos countries, it runs deep in Mexico City, so and all through Mexico. So it was great. I had a really great time, and it was a blessing to be there.
Okay, we don't know the Niners' opponent in Mexico City this year. Are you tipping us off for the Broncos playing down there?
Ham. I don't know anything. I plead the fifth. I don't know anything.
What do you think, Ian?
So that's exactly what you would say if you do know something but don't want to tell us. All right, we'll let the schedule come out when it comes out. No big deal. But either way, very, very cool experience for you, and I love that you went down there and did that. I want to get back to this past season. You mentioned the unfortunate thing that happened to you. Obviously, we're injured. We're not able to finish the season. You were not alone. Bo Nix, same situation. You guys were a really good team last year, setting up to be a really good team this year. Do you feel like a little bit of unfinished business for you and for the team?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of unfinished business. You know, when I went down, when I got hurt, I think I was like, I want to say third or fourth total rushing yards in the NFL. Like, so for that to happen, the thing that hurt my feelings the most was knowing that I was right there in grasp of something, you know, special, especially because, you know, the injury thing is like, it's been so unfortunate for me because, like, when you look at some people, right, you say injury prone, you get the rolled ankles, the hamstring strains or whatever you're getting. The stuff that I'm getting is like, done for the season, let's go get some surgery. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, dang, like, where do I work? Like, why am I getting these unfortunate things? But, you know, it's all part of God's plan. And I'm always keep going. Like, a lot of people wondering, like, damn, like, this guy, how is he steady coming back? Well, I don't see the injuries as something that's like a downer. I see it as some way to get better, like, as a man, as a person, physically. Like, yeah, I get hurt, but now I'm going to come back even better. And then with this injury, I was so close to coming back from it, right? I believe I could have played in that AFC Championship game. I could have. Like, I practiced well. I had, like, all my numbers. I was hitting all my numbers, and I felt great. You know, and the thing about having a great organization is that they looked out for me, and they wanted to make sure that I was good.
And JK, I mean, I just look, your spirit is like, this is why everybody loves you. I mean, in Baltimore with the Chargers, and now with the Broncos, you talk about that. You talk about Bo Nix coming back. But one thing that is changing, you know, with a roster that's so good is your play caller, right? You've got a new play caller coming up with Davis Webb. How much is that going to impact what you do in this offense overall?
I think it's going to impact me big time. I think Webb is a fantastic play caller. So is Sean Payton. So with the help of Sean Payton with Davis Webb, I think it's going to be even better than last year. I think we're going to do some things that people, they won't expect it. And then we got another guy that just came in, and Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, not bad.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, get your poison, because we got Cortland Sutton, we got the young Pat Bryant, we got a great old line, we got everything, right? We got an embarrassment of riches on this team of talent, you know. So I'm excited. I really am, and I'm going to be even, because, you know, I thought what it is. I got hurt. I missed the last 7 games in the regular season. I'm fresh. I'm going to be fresh. I'm going to be fresh, and I'm going to be pissed off, because I'm tired of the unfortunate stuff, and I know that I can do it. And it's going to happen this year, especially, you know, I'm telling you, it's going to be great. I ain't going to spill too much. I don't want to spill too many beans, but it's going to be great.
Awesome. Cannot wait to see all that, JK. Great stuff. Next year is going to be really fun to watch for you, for this team. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on the Insiders. Have an excellent offseason. I'm sure we'll see you down the line.
Adios.
Yeah. Hey, nos vemos más tarde.
Here you got Bucky Brooks, our guy Bucky's top 5 running back prospects 2.0. If you missed 1.0, sorry about your luck, but 2.0 is that much better. Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, yes, there are 2 Notre Dame running backs that might wind up going in the first round of this draft here, followed by Emmett Johnson of Nebraska at 3, Mike Washington Jr. at 5. Why did I skip number 4? Because, drum roll, he's joining us right now. Jonah Coleman here with Judy Batista and myself, Mike Garofalo, on the Insiders. Jonah, when you see that list, I mean, I remember 15 years ago or so, I think we had a draft with no running backs in the first round, and we said, will there ever be another first round? Yes, there's been plenty since. So the value of the running back in the first round, when you look at that, are you impressed to be part of such a good class here?
Yeah, obviously, blessed enough to have my name in the conversation of, being one of the top backs coming out for sure. Order got a little question in my opinion, but we gonna play it out how it is. But I'm just
boy.
I know you had your pro day. Well, you may be quibbling with the order of things. What kind of feedback have you been getting in these last few weeks here?
Well, I've just been getting a lot of feedback of basically like Jeff Fish is doing a great job and Coach Graham is doing a great job as far as like I'm getting on these Zooms and dominating these meetings as far as like them reciting me the offense, the knowledge, the terminology that I know, like just little things that I know and how my IQ can show up, in the game. I'm able to talk ball with these guys, hand in hand. So just being able to exploit my football knowledge as well has been great. It was fun being able to go to pro day and, run around a little bit. Obviously, I was dealing with the PCL sprain, so it felt good being able to finally run around again. But everything's been showing up. Everything, like the whole culture, everything has been showing up in these meetings as far as what I experienced in college. So it's really, I would say definitely have an advantage, being with Jeff Fish and running back coach Scotty Graham. It's all showing up and it's all like, feel like second nature. I feel like I'm just getting taught the offense again at Washington or at Arizona. It's literally the same exact thing, maybe a little bit, different tweaks of terminology, but just being able to dominate is something that I love doing. And that's what I've been doing in this meeting.
You're doing a great job here. Right out of the gate, hey, I'm not sure about your order. Also, I'm dominating these Zooms. I am going to guess, having just met you here, that confidence is not an issue with you on or off the field?
At all. No question.
And that's, listen, I'm sure that's showing up in these meetings. It's also showed up in your play as well. I mean, I see the way that guys talk about you, team cap. This is our guy Lance Zerline for NFL.com, team captain with a compact and sturdy base. Lost only 1 fumble in 4 seasons. Now, I know that that's impressing some pro coaches, How do you communicate to them how important ball security is for you?
Well, a coach this is actually funny. It showed up in the meeting. The coach was like, bossy, like, I need you to finish this sentence for me. He said, ball security is job security. I finished off with job security because that's how we worded it at Washington. Like, ball security is job security. If you don't hold on to this football, how are we going to give you the ball? You have one job as a running back to protect the football. So that's something that, I do very well. There's no reason for you to put the ball on the ground. And I'm still kind of mad about that one that I let on the ground. And but it literally had to happen the last college game. It had to happen. But just really sticking with your rules, not trying to be like a superhero or nothing. I feel like just sticking with the, 4 points of pressure, your hand, form, body, your bicep, block it when you go to the ground and closing that back door, and I feel like I have an advantage because I don't feel like guys are really trying to get the ball out of my hands. I think they're more so worried about tackling me than trying to get the ball out of my hands. I feel you got to worry about tackling me first. And the first thing is we got to get this guy down other than, strip the ball. So I feel like that played a lot of success as well.
I love this dude.
All right, you don't lack for confidence, so I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this. When you read the scouting reports and you read everything, the one question that comes up is your speed, your breakaway speed. What do you say to people who doubt your speed?
Well, I just say, like, how many times in the league do you see people scoring 60, 70-yard touchdowns, like, each week, week in and week out? You don't really see it show up, a lot in the NFL. I feel like I consistently get 10-yard runs, consistently get 15-yard runs, consistently get, 20-yard runs. I feel like I consistently do that. You know what I mean? And when the opportunity does present itself for me to go hit a home run, I'll go do that. I came back another year, obviously, to get my college degree and to be able to show that. It just, didn't happen. It's football and everything, goes the way you want it to go. So just being able to play my game, you know what I mean? I may not necessarily be the 80-yard home run hitter, but you need 10 yards the first down to move the chains. I'm going to do that. And like I said, whenever the opportunity presents itself, I'm able to take advantage of it. And it just didn't happen this past season. So when those opportunities present itself again, I'm going to take it to the fullest.
You talked about every part of his game. Don't forget the pass protection. This was your quote from the Combine. You're not going to play if you can't pass pro. It's simple. I'm paying $100 million to a quarterback. You're getting paid $2 million. Who's more important? That was the pass protection statement. So you are locked in on pass protection, a big part of your game and a big part of what NFL coaches want to see from rookies. All right. You know what, Judy? I think you got one more question/request for him. Go for it, Judy.
Yeah, you were telling us before on Sunday you got a back tattoo. What'd you get?
So I pretty much got like this thing that represents like I'm gonna pull up a picture for you guys right here. So
hey, it's little.
Move it over.
By the way, there you go.
Move it to your left a little. Whoa.
Yeah, so at the top
What's all that?
Take us through it.
So at the top right here it says beat the odds. I'm from Stockton, California, obviously, and it's tough to be in the situation I'm in now, and not a lot of people, I would say, even make it to college. I'm the first in my family to go to college and first in my family to even graduate from college. So I definitely would say I beat the odds. I have to have the Arizona A on there. I committed and I started my college career there. And then obviously have Washington under it. I finished my career at the University of Washington. I have the NFL logo. If I'm blessed enough, I would, hear my name called in April. And then this is where it all started. This is little Jonah right here. So I had to add that little picture because, I can never forget it, that little face. Just going back and looking at old stuff. And then at the bottom, I said I just didn't quit because I didn't. My life could have gone so many different ways. And I'm in a position I'm in now to obviously change my life and my family's life. And it's all just because I didn't quit. I didn't give up. I didn't lay down and ultimately beat the odds. So I'm so blessed to be in a position I'm in now. I appreciate you guys for having me on here. I'm so blessed to be even talking to you guys. So, but yeah, I'm excited for this whole thing. But like I said, I beat the odds and I just didn't quit.
Yep. And you punched your ticket to another guest appearance on the Insiders in the near future. Once we figure out where you're going, what NFL team you're going to be on, you saw that logo there on your back. Jonah, continue to beat the odds, continue to be an excellent interview for everybody, and continue to take care of those fingernails. My nails are ugly. Like when you held the phone up, I noticed the tattoos, but also those are some really manicured fingernails right there.
Nice.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, how you do one thing
you
is how
got
you
to
do
protect the
everything.
rock. Yeah, when you got to protect the rock, you got to take care of the entire hand right there. Jonah Coleman's YouTube channel, go check it out. Just Jonah Coleman, go check it out there for more excellent content from our guy who's going to hear his name called in the NFL draft in just a couple of weeks. Jonah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Buggy. I appreciate you for having me. Thank you, guys.
That's my guy, Jonah Coleman. We are fast friends, he and I. Brian Baldinger, Steve Weish, going to join us after the break. Say, which of these moves that you're seeing right here, what are the biggest impact moves of the offseason? Is it that guy? He got paid a ton of money. We'll find out next.
Time for Active Moves presented by the Wells Fargo Active Cash Credit Card. Let's bring in our good friends, Steve Weish, Brian Baldinger, once again to talk about teams that are enjoying the best offseason so far in 2026. Steve, I will start with you. What team's offseason stands out to you?
I'm going with those Las Vegas Raiders, and it's, we see the quantity, we see the quality, But you look at them adding someone like Tyler Linderbaum, right? The center, they come over from the Ravens to that big contract. Kwity Paye, Quay Walker, Jacoby Dean. They went heavy when it comes to the volume on defense, which kind of tips where they're going to go offensively in the draft with those 10 picks, starting with Fernando Mendoza. But one of the main reasons, Baldy, why I like what the Raiders did isn't necessarily the amount of players they brought in. We knew they were going to do that. We knew they had the cap space. But look at the organizations that they came from. They came from winning organizations for the most part. We've got Tyler Linderbaum coming from the Ravens, Quay Walker, the Packers, Jacoby Dean from the Eagles. They won a Super Bowl, and they also traded for Taron Johnson, the slot corner, one of the best slot corners from the Buffalo Bills. Baldy, we know this. There are different organizations and different cultures. The Raiders are probably at the bottom part of that pecking order when it comes to culture. If you're trying to change the culture and you bring in a bunch of guys where there's player accountability from winning organizations, that is the seed that needs to be watered in the desert if they want to change their standing as being the worst team in the AFC West.
And, Steve, don't forget that they're bringing in Clint Kubiak here to run the offense coming from the Super Bowl champion, Seattle Seahawks. And that's where I want to start with my team, the New York Giants, the signing of John Harbaugh to come in, a proven track record of what he was able to accomplish in Baltimore, bringing in some of his guys, Isaiah Likely, along with Patrick Ricard. I think one of the things that you're seeing with those two guys and Tremaine Edmonds is they wanted to get bigger. They wanted to get tougher. And if you just look last year to the Giants, I mean, they collapsed against the Cowboys earlier in the year, lost in overtime. They collapsed against Denver when they had the Broncos beat. They collapsed against the Bears later in the season when they're up by 10 points in the fourth quarter. And so I think that you look at the coaching staff, you look at the additions right here, a team that is going to get Malik Neighbors and Cam Scatterboo back. We believe that those guys are difference makers in how they play the game. I can see this team really being built and changed in the eyes of John Harbaugh. They beat the Eagles last year. I feel like this is a team that, can they beat the Eagles? Can they win the division? They can compete in that division right now like they haven't been able to the last few years.
A couple of the very fun storylines to look forward to for the 2026 season. Baldy, Steve, thank you very much. Excellent breakdowns, as always.